Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day today, and in this video we're going to be doing a review for one of the most iconic films of all time, Rocky, which came out in 1976. Now as I said, this is very iconic. It was a pop culture phenomenon that people still watch to this day. It had a really low budget but grossed a ton of money at the box office, and they made like 8 sequels. In 2006, the Library of Congress selected it for preservation in the United States Film Registry because it has been considered one of the greatest films of all time by many, one of the best sports films of all time. There are so many people that when they make their top 10 movie lists of all time, Rocky is right in there. Roger Ebert, probably the most famous film critic, who was very intimidating and strict when it came to films. I mean, it took a lot to impress him, but he gave this movie a 4 out of 4 stars, which I have no clue why it's not 5 stars because I don't know, like, I guess you'd have to do a half because, like, there's a huge difference between 3 and 4. Like, you can't make that jump. Anyways, it also has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. And going back to shortly after it came out, it was nominated for 10 Oscars and won 3, including Best Picture. And obviously this had some great actors in it, like obviously Sylvester Stallone, Carl Weathers, and Burgess Meredith, and tons more. And to hop right into the review, I don't like it. I'm not kidding. I actually don't think it's anything that great. And I'm not saying I think it's just slightly overrated, like it's not a top 10 movie of all time. I think it's a flawed film. And that's not saying I hate it. I think it's terrible. There's definitely some stuff to enjoy in here. But overall, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. Now, for the most part, the acting is okay, I guess. Obviously, from the main stars, it's pretty good, but there are some actors in it that I don't think were that great. And overall, my main criticism of this film is the structure is weird. Obviously, you see Rocky boxing at the beginning, but I feel like the setup just takes way too long. He doesn't really get motivated and start training until the movie's over halfway over. And it doesn't feel like anything actually happens to him, like in a character arc way, where it feels like he changes as a character or ever changes his attitude. He just has one training montage, which is obviously the best part of the movie. I mean, the score for the movie, the Rocky theme is fantastic. That is a top 10 movie score of all time. Although the music really only plays during the montage, I think, and a couple other parts in the movie. I'm not really a huge fan of the directing style, and obviously some stuff like that is just a matter of opinion, but there are other things in this movie that I feel like definitely could have been improved upon. And obviously when people say this is one of the best sports movie or the best sports movie, are there really any good sports movies if we're being completely honest? I mean, I haven't really watched that many, but it's not like those are very common anyways. And the main idea that people really like about this movie is that it's not really about the sport, it's about the character, about the development, and the sport is just kind of a representation. And obviously I agree with that, that's how it should be. I don't think the development is that good. Like, the romance is pretty good just because it's kind of funny, you know. Rocky is kind of a goofy guy. Sylvester Stallone did a great job of playing someone that had been hit in the head a few too many times, let's just put it at that. And it's just kind of good because of how awkward it is with Adrian. There's definitely some laugh out loud moments in this movie, but overall as a drama, I don't think it's as good as people just make it out to be. And again, even though it's about the character, there's like so many scenes where it's just him doing the most random stuff that feels like it has nothing to do with the plot. There's some good stuff like him being creative by using meat as punching bags, but there's just a lot of other random stuff in here that I feel like you could switch the order of the scenes and it wouldn't even make a difference. But as I said, it's not terrible. It does have good moments, and there were certainly good ideas in here. I mean, this obviously had the potential to be one of the greatest movies of all time, but that's just not how I look at it. I just don't think the execution was actually quite there. It's entirely watchable, it's enjoyable enough, but I do think it is a flawed film. I guess the new generation is called Gen Alpha or whatever, and I don't know what movies they're watching these days. I think Star Wars is still relevant for younger children, but there are a lot of like older movies, like the Indiana Jones movies and the Back to the Future movies, that I feel like they're missing out on, and they're just really well made, really good movies. And I think there's just definitely some old movies from that era that they need to get into. But this I just honestly don't see as one of them. I think it is a flawed film. When I first watched it, it was very different from what I expected. in the sense that I expected it to be good. And again, I don't hate it. It's just like kind of borderline good, bad. Feels like if you really like it, it would be more of a guilty pleasure film. So I just don't understand why this is one of the most celebrated films of all time. And I'm not actually the only one that's alone on this. When it first came out, there was a film critic named Vincent Canby that called it pure 30s make-believe, and another film critic named Andrew Saris that didn't like it either. So I mean, that's two people, and they were film critics, so that's pretty good. But also, as I said, it has a 91 on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's just people that gave it a positive review. That means 9% gave it a negative review or said it was rotten, which I don't even think I would go that far. It's probably like borderline bad or good, but I would probably ultimately go positive barely, which means 9% of the critics like it less than me. So overall, on the quality scale of 0 to 100, we'll give it a 60%. Obviously, it's iconic, you know, the Rocky steps, all that great stuff, but I just don't really like the way it's structured. And I mean, if you enjoy the movie, I mean, I hope you do enjoy the movie. That's good for you. I don't have anything against that, but at the end of the day, I just don't think the execution was that good, no matter how many video essays you make. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. If there's a movie you would like me to review, let me know in the comments section down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.